Hello, gorgeous people. So MFF, people have been asking me, what about MFF? You talk about MFM all the time. What about the MFF? So I'm going to tell you about my experience, my first experience with an MFF, and how you can have one too. So stay tuned. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about the MFF, male, female, female, looking at male, female as the couple, bring in another female. Most of my experience is with MFM. I've had many MFMs throughout my life. But I've also had many MFFs. Not as many, because I discovered after playing out the scenario and exploring my sexuality and diving into who I am as a sexual being, that I'm actually not into women. I love women, I love their bodies, I love being close to women, I love hanging out with women, I love women as friends, but sexually, I'm just not so totally into women. So the MFM is much more interesting to me, but an MFM is also absolutely fabulous and totally different in my opinion. So if this is a dream of yours, it's a big fantasy of many people, this threesome combination, then start first by talking to your partner, to your wife, your girlfriend, and seeing if it's something that they would like to do. And also check if they are bisexual or not, or bi-friendly, or bi-curious, or if they like women, if they have any fantasies about women, being with women. See where they stand around connecting with women in a more intimate manner. Now, if they are into women and or they're bisexual, or they think that they might be bisexual and they're really been fantasizing about women, then you're going to have a lot of luck for sure. If they're not at all, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means that you have to take it a little bit differently, because they are not going to be bringing in the woman as easily as a woman who is bisexual. So the first question is always, how do we find another woman? Where are they? How do we get connected with women? Well, of course, there's lots of online services now, all sorts of online services that you can go to and put in your bio, put in exactly what you want to have, what you want to explore, what kind of person you're looking for even. And you can connect with a woman there as a potential way of finding someone. You can also check out going to events. There are always swinger type of events, sexually exploring type of events, evening events that are more open, more sexually friendly. Those are good places to meet another woman. There's a lot of women who go to these events, a lot of men as well. But people are at least open and they're talking about it, and people are there because they're sexually open. So if you and your partner are like, yes, let's look for another woman, try to find an event that you can go to. And even if you don't find someone the first time you go, you will meet people and connect with people and begin to make friendships. And then potentially that will lead, that sort of string, that thread of meeting the person will eventually lead you to meeting someone who you can get intimate with. Now, in my experience, I'm not bisexual, but my partner and I had done a lot of MFMs, and he wanted to try an MFF. You know, he said, I think it's time that we invite a woman in. I'm like, oh God, okay. Okay, I think it's time too. So I actually initiated the first experience that we had. And it was somebody that he was very interested in as well. He thought she was super sexy and cool and intelligent, and we had this nice connection, the three of us. But I was the one who initiated asking her if she'd like to join us. So you can also just sort of look at all the people in your friendship realm, in your maybe groups that you've joined in with, maybe people that you know. Just look at the different people, and you and your wife talk about who might be a candidate, a possible candidate. You know, narrow it down. And I'm sure there's somebody there that the two of you think, yeah, that person could be possible, right? So that's an organic way of doing it, but it's more of an immediate way, because you know the person and you think that, wow, you both have an attraction to that person. It would be fun for the two of you to have an experience with her. The last way of opening to finding a third is to just open up. The two of you both decide very clearly, we want to have an MFF. We want to have an MFF. So the two of you decide that, you and your partner, and then you just open to every potential possibility, every woman that comes in, just, feeling the energy of the woman, giving off that energy. You don't have to say anything yet, but just give off the energy that you are, that kind of a couple that are into exploring a bit, right? You don't have to invite yet, but put off that energy, and you will find that people seem to appear out of nowhere, out of the woodwork, because, they can feel it. And other people are also, there are a lot of women out there, unicorns, who are looking for this kind of an experience, to join a couple. She doesn't want to have any strings attached. She wants to have some sexual exploration. You can check out my video with Emma Fox. She is one of those kind of women, sort of unicorn types, who likes to connect with couples and have experiences, but doesn't want to, just want a relationship with any. She doesn't want like a deep relationship. Well, she might want a deep relationship, but she doesn't want to disturb the relationship. She just wants to have an experience with you. So there's lots of women like that. Check out the video. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things steps that you can take to move forward towards creating an MFF, and I'm going to give you some ideas about my own experience in this video. But if you want some more detailed step-by-step information, then go to my first link in the description below, and I'll send you a PDF with some more insider tips. I am going to talk about some of my own personal experience as well, but if you want to know in more detail about that, then you have to go join my Patreon account. I get into much more detail about the explorative experiences that I have with, all sorts of different scenarios. So go to my Patreon, join that if you want to get more juicy details about this. Let's say you meet a woman that is potential, or you have a friend that's a potential, and the two of you have agreed upon that person is someone that we would like to play with. Like, we both are very attracted, we think she's super hot, and we think that there's possibility that she might be interested, right? The next step is you have to take some risk here. You have to actually ask the person. And you don't have to ask in such a direct manner, like, do you want to have sex with us? You can sort of ask in a much more subtle way that brings them into your kind of duals, their coupledom, right? So one suggestion that I have is to say, would you be interested in getting more intimate with us? I love that phrase. So put that in your books, because it's subtler, it's softer, it's not as direct, but it does imply that you're going to get intimate, and intimacy could lead to sex, but it just feels, a little bit more intimate that way. You can also bring up with them what kinds of things they've experienced sexually or intimately, and try to find out their experience before you invite them into your coupledom. So you just bring up the topic about sex. Oh, we're really into the sexual exploration. You ever heard about that before? Anything that you've ever done before? So kind of get the conversation going about that. You can also decide that just one of you is going to be the one to approach her. And it is a bit stronger if the woman approaches, because the third woman wants to know that at least the woman is very on board about it. Lots of guys want to have threesomes, and they want to get the woman in with their wife, but maybe their wife isn't on board, or she's not sure, the unicorn is not sure if the wife is on board, and she needs to be clear about that. Most of the time, almost all the time, they want to be clear that the wife is completely on board, right? So it's good to get your wife to take the steps, but you can also take the steps as the husband and suggest that, hey, I think it would be really cool. My wife is really interested as well, that we have a little bit more of an intimate encounter together. Love to invite you for coffee or for a drink, and let's, the three of us, talk about it. So the step after inviting them would be to invite them for a coffee or a drink with, like, we're not going to do anything. Let's just get together and have a chat and discuss the possibility. So would you like to meet up for a coffee and discuss a possibility of getting more intimate, right? I always suggest a first no play meeting, even with a friend, even with somebody you really know well, because if you've never talked about sex with them, then you want to do that before you get intimate with them. You want to find out like what's really going on with them. What did they like? What did they not like? What are their boundaries? If you do have an intimate, if you have an intimate encounter, what is their sexual history? Including, have they ever had any kind of sexual problems? Have they ever had any kind of infections? Or do they have an infection? So you want to find out those details first before you get into the deeper, intimate connection with them. Now, guys, before you even start this, you have to get yourself ready for 2 women, okay? Now, if you have not mastered ejaculation control, if you are not a slow mover in the realm of foreplay, if you do not have a good sexual connection with your wife right now, then I would say no. MFM is not a good route for you yet. It doesn't mean that you can't have one yet, but you need to master these 3 things first before you bring another person in your relationship. Yeah, because it will make all the difference. 2 women is a lot to serve, okay? There's 2 vaginas, there's 1 penis, and you've got a lot of work to do here. And you want to make sure these women are fully satisfied, and you want to make sure your partner is already very satisfied being with you. It's just a spice that's been added into this, right? It's an extra spice for the 2 of you to enjoy, to experience. So you want to make sure that you and your wife are solid before you even have the MFF. That is a crucial. The mastering ejaculation control is also absolutely crucial. You have to be able to last. If you ejaculate in 5 minutes, even in 20 or 30 minutes, it's not long enough. You've got 2 women here. Women can go on and orgasm for hours and hours. So you want to be the very last to finish. Okay, so that has to be mastered. If you haven't mastered ejaculation control, then see this video here, and that will help you get started in working on yourself so that you'll be ready for having an MFF, right? Let's say you have found somebody, you have had a date, 1 date already, coffee or a drink, and it went really well, and you've all decided, yes, we want to do this. So you plan a date that everybody is feeling good and everybody's on board. And for this particular date, you've got 2 women. So you need to set up your environment. Women require all their senses to be stimulated. There has to be a lot of foreplay. There has to be a lot of slow play and ups and downs and sensuality, and so you want to get your space ready with everything that you need, including all the condoms that you need, because you may need a number of condoms. You have to get some good lighting into your place, maybe candles, maybe just dimming lights. You want to have some snacks, some drinks available. Everything you need. Comfortable places to sit, to lie, places where you can, have a blanket so you can keep warm. A lot of women get really cold after they have orgasms, so you want to have a way that they can keep warm. You're taking care of 2 women, right? So 2 full-on queens. So you want to have everything prepared and ready so that you can just focus on the luxury of these 2 beautiful women in your realm. And if you take care of all these things, if you take care of the whole atmosphere, you take care of their needs, and you take care of how you're going to perform, and you allow for everything to move organically and slowly and sensually, eventually the energy will build so greatly and so high that you're going to be served like you have never been served before by 2 women. Now for me, I invited a woman in to our coupledom. We had a very strong relationship. Ejaculation control, not a problem for him. And so I approached her because I knew that it was time for us to have an MFF, and I really wanted to as well, as did he. And she was a great candidate. So I asked her very nicely, would you like to get intimate with us? She said, yes, okay. We had a nice drink together. Whoa, it was wonderful. And I think that night I said, let's go. And my husband's like, yes, I'm ready to. We're all ready. The first encounter that we had together was surprising. Now, you can never really know what somebody's like sexually until you actually get into the realm of sexuality. My husband and I were very sexual people, had a lot of experience. I was a very open woman, but I was not prepared for this beautiful, sensual being that was thrown at our doorstep here. She was very sexy, very sensual, very aroused very quickly. My husband got really excited. And at one point in the event, once we all got together, and it was a sensual night and a slow build up, and then it got heated and exciting, but the two of them ended up doing a lot together, and I kind of felt like on the outside. And I knew he was really excited about her and was really thrilled about it. But if you are the guy, don't forget about your wife. You know, it might be the first time you have an MFF, and you're just so excited that you get taken over by the energy, but you don't want to forget about your wife, because I was a little bit upset in the moment. I mean, I understood what was going on, and he wasn't totally ignoring me, and I was involved with her as well. But it's really important that everybody gets equal connection. And after the event, we had a good discussion about it. And he said, yeah, I was just so swept away by her energy. And I said, yeah, me too. But at one point I felt kind of left out. And he said, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That won't happen again. Like, let's make sure that we have a code word or something that you could say so that, that it feels better than, hey, honey, I'm feeling left out. Although I don't condone that you are very direct about how you're feeling in the moment. Honey, I'm feeling a little left out, like, hello, that's okay. But a code word is kind of nice too, because then it's very obvious, and she doesn't have to feel kind of weird, and you don't have to feel weird. Now, it was also her first time, so she didn't really know what to expect, didn't really know about our connection, and didn't know anything about me as a sexual being. She thought I was very sexy, very hot, and I thought she was very sexy and very hot. And her and I also had a very nice connection. But I know that I'm not bisexual, and that part of it was not the excitement for me. So I tend to like to be the center of attention. That's just what I am. And if your wife is not bisexual, she may feel the same way. So you have to really care for your wife, number one. And then you have to care for the other woman too, because she also does not want to be left out. So that's a tricky balance, caring for both of them, especially if they're not bisexual women. If they're bisexual women, they will enjoy each other as well. And you can then watch, you can get involved, you can take turns, and it's more of a nice three-way scenario. If she's not bisexual, it can still be amazing. We had many other encounters with this particular woman and had some really beautiful encounters with her. Once we all kind of felt out each other's energy a little bit better and understood what each of our needs were. Now, lastly, just as I said in the little story I told you, after you have the experience with the woman, then talk about it. How you felt, what you really liked, what you would have liked more of. What was difficult for you, what you would like to maybe change for another time. If it was really difficult for you, or even slightly uncomfortable for you or for your wife, it doesn't mean it's the last MFM you'll ever have. This is one experience, and you learn from each experience. But it's really important to talk about it after. You can talk about it with the other woman, or definitely talk about it when she's left. The two of you have a heart-to-heart about how you really felt about the experience, so that whatever it is, however you felt, you know how you can move on to the next experience. So I hope this helps you and your partner find exactly what you want in the MFF. If you need more deeper private support, then you can book a free consultation with me, and we can discuss a plan for the two of you to help you and guide you moving through your exploration together. And other than that, I will see you next time. Much lovemaking.